Okay. Guys. The examples I'll share will be from a female perspective. Trust me. They are incredibly relatable to both men and women. Alright. Let's talk about something we've all encountered but wish we hadn't: red flags. You know. Those little warning signs that pop up in dating and make you go, Is it me? Is this person just a walking fire hazard? Spoiler alert, it's probably not you. Whether it's the person who can't stop texting their ex during dinner or the one who thinks boundaries are optional. We're covering it all today. These red flags aren't just quirky personality traits. They're neon signs saying, abort mission. The best part. We're going to laugh about it. Learn from it. Maybe even cry a little. Let's be real, we've all ignored at least one. Grab your coffee. Your wine. Your popcorn. Let's dive into red flags in dating you should absolutely take seriously. It's about to get real. Honest. Maybe just a little spicy. Trust. I have unbelievable stories. Let's go. They're obsessed with social media. Alright. Let's talk about the social media addict. You know the type. They're more invested in their Instagram look than the actual date they're on. They've spent 15 minutes arranging their avocado toast for the perfect shot while you're sitting there wondering if you're also part of the look or just an unpaid hand model holding their coffee cup for the candid shot. I once went on a date. The guy. Let's call him Jake because of course. Kept stopping mid-conversation to film everything. The restaurant. The ambience. The food. He filmed it all without asking. By the end of the night, I wasn't sure if I'd been on a date or if I'd accidentally starred in an episode of his TikTok vlog series. Spoiler alert, I didn't sign a release form. Now. Don't get me wrong. I love social media. We're here on YouTube after all. There's a difference between sharing your life with someone. If you're spending more time sharing your life to make someone else happy, that's a problem. If your partner is more focused on making their social media posts look good than on spending time with you, that's a warning sign. Let's not even talk about couples who fight but still post pictures of their relationship as if we don't know what's going on. Here's where it gets serious: being obsessed with social media isn't just about vanity. It's about what's important to you. Are they with you or are they looking for approval from strangers online? If their phone they make more eye contact than you do. What does that say about how they value your time together? At its core, a healthy relationship is about being seen. Not just on social media. In real life. You deserve someone who is engaged with you. Not with the number of likes their beach selfie is racking up. Remember. Love isn't measured in filters and followers. It's measured in connection. Respect. Being able to eat your food before it goes cold because someone wanted to take 12 pictures of it. Beware of people who are obsessed with social media. If you're dating someone who's obsessed with social media, ask yourself, are they building a life with you or just building a brand? Trust me, your happiness doesn't need a highlight reel. They don't respect boundaries. Alright. Buckle up because this is a major deal breaker. People who don't respect boundaries, and I'm not just talking about the obvious stuff. Like barging into your personal space, although that's bad enough. I'm talking about the subtle, sneaky stuff. 2. Ways people go too far and make you wonder if you're being too sensitive. Spoiler alert, you're not. Let me explain. I once dated someone who thought boundaries were cute suggestions. Let's call him Steve. Doesn't every person who pushes boundaries feel like a Steve? Anyway. Steve was charming. Funny. So attentive at first. Things got weird fast. It started small. He'd text me constantly. Good morning texts. Lunch check memes and monologues at night. If I didn't reply right away, he'd ask, "Are you mad at me?" Worse. "I just care about you so much I get worried." At first, I thought, wow. Someone who actually cares. What he really cared about was control. The texts escalated into unannounced visits. Imagine coming home after a long day. Ready to collapse on the couch. Boom. Steve's at the door with takeout. Like he's the hero of a rom-com that it wasn't romantic, it was suffocating. I'd say, "Hey. I love seeing you. Next time. Can you let me know first?" And he'd laugh it off. "But I wanted to surprise you." Surprise? Sure. Respect? Not so much. It didn't stop there. One time, I caught him scrolling through my phone. "My phone?" I asked. "I wasn't snooping." He said. "I just wanted to see your photos." "You're so beautiful," he said. Cute deflection, but still a huge invasion. I realized that this wasn't love. It was entitlement. He didn't just want me, he wanted to control every part of my life. Society often tells us that setting boundaries in relationships is selfish. People often say, "But if you're in love, you shouldn't need boundaries." That's wrong. Love without boundaries isn't love, it's chaos. Here's the deeper truth. If someone doesn't respect your personal limits, they don't really respect you. They're showing you that their feelings, needs, wants are more important than yours. And when they try to make you feel guilty about it, it's like they're saying, "I love you so much. I didn't think this was a big deal." They're trying to make their bad behavior your fault. Let's take a step back and look at the big picture. For a second, think about what boundaries are. Boundaries aren't just about saying no. They're about defining what's important to you. They're a way of communicating what you need to feel safe, respected, loved. If someone cares about you, they'll listen and honor your boundaries. Relationship, but someone who doesn't respect your boundaries will push and push and push. Today, it might be showing up unannounced. Tomorrow, it could be reading your messages. Next week, it might be telling you what you can and can't do. That's not a slippery slope, it's a landslide. And let me get a little personal here. The hardest thing about boundaries is that someone who doesn't respect them might push and push and push. Identifying boundary pushers is difficult. It's easier to leave them because they often make you feel like you're the problem. You start thinking, maybe I'm being unreasonable. Maybe I'm overreacting. You're not. Your boundaries are valid. You don't need to justify them to anyone. Here's the key point. Boundaries are non-negotiable. They're not up for discussion. They're about creating a space where respect can grow. A healthy relationship isn't built on one person controlling the other. It's built on two people respecting each other's needs. So, if you're with someone who doesn't respect your boundaries, take it as a gift that they've shown you who they are before you. If you're with someone who doesn't respect your boundaries, take it as a sign that they're not right for you. Believe me. It's better to be alone and at peace than stuck with someone who doesn't respect your boundaries. You deserve a partner who knocks and waits for you to open the door. Not someone who kicks it down because they think they belong there. Trust me on this one. 3. They're unreasonably jealous. Jealousy is a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes, we act like monsters aren't cute. Secretly think, oh, they care about me. But there's a fine line between saying, "I don't want to lose you," and acting jealous. When jealousy goes from healthy to unreasonable, it becomes toxic. Here's a personal story. I dated, let's call him Ryan. He was very sweet at first. He'd say things like, "I'm so lucky to have you." Or, "I don't know what I'd do if someone else tried to take you away." I thought, wow, this guy really values me. But it wasn't long before those cute little comments turned into something darker. One day, I mentioned that I ran into an old classmate. Just a casual 5-second conversation at the grocery store. Ryan's face was stone cold. He asked, "Why are you still talking to other guys? Do you miss him or something?" I laughed it off, thinking, surely he's joking. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. It got worse. He started checking my social media, asking who every guy in my comments was. "Who is that? Why is he liking your photo? Why is he commenting on your post?" I'd say, "That's my cousin." He'd reply, "Well, he's too friendly. Bro, it's Thanksgiving dinner. We're family. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Jealousy is a normal emotion. We all feel it sometimes. Even in the healthiest relationships. There's a big difference between feeling jealous and acting jealous. It's normal to feel a little insecure sometimes, but demanding to see your DMs and asking you about the guy at Starbucks is not normal. Here's the controversial part. Society often says jealousy is a sign of passion. We've all heard it, right? If they're not jealous, do they even love you? I'm sorry. No, jealousy isn't love. It's insecurity dressed up in a bad disguise. If someone constantly questions your loyalty, it's not because they love you too much. It's because they don't love themselves enough. Let's dive deeper. Unreasonable jealousy isn't about you. It's about control. It's about their fear of losing you. It's not because they value the relationship. Because they fear what losing you says about them. You shouldn't carry that burden. Your partner's insecurities are theirs to work through, not yours. Tiptoe around. Here's the real kicker. Jealousy that goes unchecked often escalates. At first, it's, "Who's that guy texting you?" Then, "I don't like you hanging out with your friends." Eventually, it's, "I don't want you going out without me." It's a slow creep from suspicion to isolation. Before you know, if you're giving up your freedom to make them feel better. Think again. Healthy relationships are built on trust. Trust means letting your partner exist in the world without feeling the need to control every move they make. If someone truly values you, they'll trust you. They won't make you. These principles are not about exclusion. They're about creating a space where mutual respect can grow. A healthy relationship isn't built on one person controlling the other. It's built on two people respecting each other's needs. So, if you're with someone who doesn't respect your boundaries, take it as a gift. They've shown you who they are before you. If you feel like every interaction could be a betrayal, here's the deep message. Love without trust is fear in disguise. You can't build a relationship on fear. It'll crumble every time. If someone is unreasonably jealous, it's not your job to reassure them at the expense of your peace of mind. You deserve a partner who makes you feel good, not someone who makes you feel bad because they are insecure. If you're with someone who is jealous, remember that jealousy is not love. It's a sign that you should probably leave. If you start to think that their jealousy is just because they care about you, then you need to stop and ask yourself if it's worth it. Trust me. The right person won't make you feel that way. Just trust that they'll celebrate you. When you're loved like that, jealousy has no chance. 4. They constantly talk badly about their exes. Alright. Let's talk about one of the most obvious problems that people ignore when they can't stop talking badly about their exes. I'm not talking about the occasional, yeah. It didn't work out because we weren't compatible. I'm talking about a full I was blown away that it's a play where their ex is the villain of every story. Let me set the scene. I went on a date with a guy. Let's call him Todd. Within the first 20 minutes. He had mentioned his ex 7 times. Not just casually. Oh no. Todd went deep. He said things like, "She was so controlling. And she ruined my life. And honestly, she was probably a narcissist." By the time he called her the devil in heels that I was halfway through my pasta. Wondering if I was on a date or in an audition to be his therapist. Here's the thing, at first. You might feel flattered. Thinking, wow. They clearly think I'm so much better than their ex. But let's be honest. If someone spends that much energy talking badly about someone they used to love, they're still in love with them. They're probably still emotionally tied up in their past relationship. You're stuck listening to the TED Talk version of their breakup trauma. Let's stir the pot a little. Society has taught us to think it's normal. Even therapeutic. To talk badly about exes. Movies and pop culture are full of people bonding over mutual hatred for their exes. But let me tell you. There's more to it. It's not flattering to be dumped and then talk trash about the person who left you. If every ex was crazy. Maybe the problem isn't with the exes. Here's where it gets controversial. If someone talks trash about their exes all the time. It's not just venting. It's showing how they handle conflict and relationships. If their goal is to be right about their exes. They're not handling conflict well. They call her the devil in heels. I was halfway through my pasta. I was wondering if I was on a date or if I was auditioning to be their therapist. Here's the thing. At first. You might feel flattered. You might think, wow. They clearly think I'm so much better than their ex. Let's be honest. Anyone who spends that much energy trashing someone they used to love isn't over them. In fact, they're to blame. Everything on the other person. What will happen if things get rocky with you? Are you next in line to be the villain in their next tragic love story? Now, I'm not saying all exes are angels. We've all had relationships that ended badly. Sometimes you need to vent to a friend to process it. There's a difference between reflecting on a breakup and if someone talks badly about their ex. It shows they aren't over them. A person who's truly moved on doesn't need to talk badly about their ex. They've made peace with the past and learned from it. I once ignored this red flag because I thought, well, he's just hurt. He'll stop once he heals. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Over time, I realized his issue wasn't just with his ex. It was with anyone. They say things like, "This person was so great. They're the devil in heels." I was halfway through my pasta. Wondering if I was on a date or in a therapy session. Here's the thing, at first. You might feel flattered. You might think, wow. They clearly think I'm so much better than their ex. But let's be honest. If someone spends that much energy talking about someone they used to love, they're still hung up on them. In fact, they're, who didn't cater to his every whim. His ex wasn't crazy. She was probably just done. Guess who became the new target of his complaints when things didn't go his way? Yep. Me. Here's the deeper message. How someone talks about their ex says a lot about their emotional maturity. If they can't speak about their past relationships with some level of respect or neutrality, it's a sign they haven't dealt with their issues. If they haven't healed, they're not ready to date. Remember, relationships end for all kinds of reasons. The healthiest people take responsibility for their part. They say, "This is what I learned. This is where I went wrong. Instead of just blaming others. If they're dragging their ex's name through the mud, it shows they lack self-awareness. Let's be real. That's going to spill into how they treat you. If you're with someone who can't stop trashing their exes, take it as a sign to pump the brakes. Here's the tea. Someday, you'll be their ex too. When that happens, do you really want to be the subject of their next rant? Choose someone who's healed, who owns their past, who's focused on building a future with you. Not someone who's still stuck reliving their heartbreaks. Trust me, your peace of mind is worth so much more than listening to someone's endless complaints. They call her the devil in heels. I was halfway through my pasta, wondering if I was on a date or if I was auditioning to be their therapist. Here's the thing. At first, you might feel flattered. You might think, wow, they clearly think I'm so much better than their ex. Let's be honest. Anyone who spends that much energy trashing someone they used to love isn't over them. In fact, their ex agenda 5. They're always broke. Not broke enough for fun. The always broke but always down for fun person. We've all met them. Maybe we've even dated them. They're the ones who somehow manage to have no money when it comes to bills or responsibilities. They magically have enough cash to hit up every happy hour. Weekend trip. Spontaneous dinner out. Convenient. Right. Let me tell you. I was halfway through my pasta when I called her the devil in heels. I was wondering if I was on a date or if I was auditioning to be his therapist. Here's the thing, at first, you might feel flattered. You might think, wow, they clearly think I'm so much better than their ex. But let's be honest. If someone spends that much energy trashing someone they used to love, they're not over them. In fact, they're a story. I once dated a guy. Let's call him Kyle. He had this beautiful habit of claiming he was too broke to pay for anything. Yet every Friday night, he'd ask me to join him for dinner at this overpriced taco place. Oh, I don't get paid till next week. Let's just go to that new spot you wanted to try. It was like clockwork. When it came to paying rent or buying necessities, he was always short. Kyle was good at finding extra money. He could always find $20 to go to a bar crawl. At first, I thought maybe he was just having a hard time. We've all been there. But then it kept happening week after week. I'd watch. He would spend money on things he really needed. He also spent a lot on things like concerts, brunch, weekend trips. It seemed like he was just a little bit broke. Not as broke as he should be now. Here's the surprising truth: if someone is always a little bit broke, still has the flexibility to spend money on non-essential things, it's a problem. Essential things. It's a red flag. It's not about how much money they have, it's about how they prioritize their finances. If someone values living in the moment more than securing their future or handling their responsibilities, it shows a deeper issue. It's like they're willing to spend on temporary highs but avoid investing in long-term goals. It's a warning sign. It's not about how much money they have, it's about how they prioritize their finances. If someone values living in the moment more than securing their future or handling their responsibilities, it shows a deeper issue. It's like they're willing to spend on temporary highs but avoid investing in long-term stability. Let's dive even deeper. Are they broke because they're irresponsible? Are they broke because they're putting you in the position of picking up their slack? You'd be surprised how often this happens. Some people will purposely act like they're broke to test how much their partner is willing to contribute emotionally and financially. It's not just about money, it's about expectations. They want to live a fun, carefree lifestyle. Without doing the heavy lifting of being financially responsible. They'll say, "I just don't know where my paycheck goes." As if buying cocktails for their friends isn't the problem. I'll admit it, I was too nice about it. Months. I justified Kyle's behavior with phrases like, "He's just going through a rough time." Or, "He'll get his stuff together soon." But the reality hit when I realized I was picking up the slack. Tab, and not just for dinner. When we'd go on trips, I'd be the one paying for transportation, snacks, sometimes even his share of the hotel room. Eventually, I was carrying the load of someone who was always too broke to pitch in. Here's the deep message: being in a relationship isn't about playing the role of a financial caretaker. A healthy relationship is a partnership. That means both people need to contribute emotionally, practically, and financially. If you're always paying for someone's fun and they don't prioritize the essentials, it's time to ask yourself, are you in a relationship or a financial situation? I know some people might say, love is about more than money. Yes, it is. But financial irresponsibility can affect every aspect of your life. When someone can't manage their finances, it's not just a one-time thing. Off topic. It's a sign of their attitude toward responsibility in general. If they're not taking care of themselves, how will they take care of you when it matters? Spoiler alert, probably not. Here's the kicker: you don't want to be the person who's always covering for someone else. You might think, you're helping them get by. You're only making it easier for them to keep making poor choices without facing any consequences. They're not learning how to be financially independent or take responsibility for their actions. The next time you're with someone who's broke but always ready to go on an adventure, ask them, is this fun for you? Am I paying for their lifestyle? Because nothing will hurt a relationship faster than realizing you're taking on someone's responsibilities, both emotionally and financially. Trust me. You deserve someone who shares the load with you, not someone who expects you to pay while they figure it out. Financial stability and responsibility are attractive qualities. So take a hard look at how your partner spends money and whether they're really as broke as they say. It's time to ask the real questions: do they want to build a future with you? Are they just looking for a free ride? A million secrets. Oh. The classic. I've got a million secrets. I'm going to be honest. If someone says this to you early in the relationship, run. Don't look back. What they're really saying is, I have things I'm hiding from you. I'm not going to tell you until I absolutely have to. Let me tell you, secrets in a relationship are not cute, they're a big red flag. I've been there. I once dated someone, let's call him Jack. He was always mysterious. Every time I'd ask him about his past, his weekend plans, where he was last night, he'd say, I'll tell you later. Or, it was complicated. Every time I smiled and thought, he's so intriguing. That was manipulation, not mystery. They don't want to open up because they don't want you to know the truth. Jack had so many secrets and things he was working through that he couldn't talk about yet. I started to feel like I was dating a spy who had a lot of international cases on his record. One day, he told me that he had been in and out of rehab. He didn't want to talk about it because it was too painful. I respected that. Then he also couldn't remember what happened to his last 3 jobs. People described his ex as a crazy, toxic person. You said you broke up with them because you wanted to focus on yourself. Something didn't add up. Here's the truth: if someone has a million secrets in the early stages of your relationship, it's not because they're mysterious or complicated. They're hiding something they don't want you to know. They hope you won't ask the hard questions at first. You might justify it, saying, everyone has their baggage. That's true. A person who's truly interested in building a healthy relationship won't treat you like a. They're not going to treat you like a detective piecing together their life from fragments that they'll share openly and honestly because they trust you. Now, let's talk about the most dangerous secret of all, the secret that they're keeping from themselves. If someone is constantly hiding things, even the small stuff, they haven't even processed their own stuff. They haven't dealt with their past issues or learned to communicate honestly. How can they really be there for you? How can they build a solid foundation if they're too busy keeping their own house of cards standing? Here's a deep moment for you. Everyone has a past that we all have things we're not proud of, but honesty is the only way to move forward in a relationship. Holding on to secrets is like putting a mask on a cracked mirror. It hides the flaws. It doesn't make them go away, and eventually, that mask will slip, revealing that the cracks were bigger than you ever imagined. That I know this from experience. Jack's secrets eventually started to unravel in ways that don't make sense. Little lies add up to big lies. Suddenly I wasn't dating a mysterious man, I was dating someone who was built on deception. It was like trying to build a house on sand. That I kept finding more inconsistencies, more missing pieces, until the entire relationship felt like a is the only way to move forward in a relationship. Holding on to secrets is like putting a mask on a cracked mirror. It hides the cracks. It doesn't make them go away. Eventually, the mask will slip, revealing that the cracks were bigger than you ever imagined. I know this from experience. Jack's secrets eventually started to fall apart. And you know what that's like. It's exhausting. It's draining. It's never going to lead to something healthy. Here's the message: don't mistake secrecy for intrigue. A person who keeps too many secrets isn't deep. They're hiding something they're either ashamed of, afraid of, unwilling to confront. It's not your job to wait around for them to open up. A healthy relationship is based on openness, transparency, trust. That if someone can't share the basics of their life with you, how do you expect them to share their heart? And let's be real, relationships are hard enough without the added burden of trying to decode someone's life. Imagine constantly second-guessing what they're telling you is a toxic way to live. It's not worth your time or energy. You deserve someone who's comfortable being themselves around you. You don't need a partner who treats their past like it's a locked box, only giving you the key when they feel like it. That's not a relationship, that's a power struggle. So, next time someone tells you they have a million secrets, take a step back. Are you signing up to? Are you in a relationship? Are you pretending to be a therapist? Remember, if someone can't be honest with you from the start, they're probably not ready for a healthy relationship. Trust your instincts and look for someone who brings you into their world, not keeps you at arm's length. You deserve that honesty. You deserve to know who they are without all the secrets. That's a wrap on our red flags in dating. You should take this seriously. Relationships can be amazing. They should never feel like a job, a mystery novel, a financial bailout. Trust your gut. Set your boundaries. Remember that you deserve a partner who treats you with respect, honesty, love. Not someone who keeps you guessing, questioning, picking up their slack. So, the next time you find yourself overlooking a red flag, just remember that you don't have to settle for less than what you deserve. There are millions of people out there who will cherish you and value your time. It's important to be open with your partner. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe. Share it with your friends. What's the biggest red flag you've encountered in dating? I want to hear your stories because we've all been there. Until next time. Keep loving yourself. Setting boundaries. Dating like a badass. Catch you in the next one.